Well, excited, obviously, hearing our name called. The regional was a foregone conclusion, but, one of our goals at the beginning of the year, we even talk about it back in the fall, is trying to beat a top 8 team at the end of the season, which gives yourself a chance to be playing at home and for the right to go to Omaha. So that's great news. And of course, we've played well over the season and had a very good record in the ACC, and I'm sure that played a lot into it. But at the end of the day, the Super Regional, that top 8 doesn't mean anything unless you take care of business, which starts on Friday. So we can't get ahead of ourselves. And I just met with the team right after the selection show. That's the first thing I told them is do not allow yourself to get caught up on who you can play in the Super Regional or who you're matched up possibly in the regional championship. Or all that should matter is Friday's game, and we're going to try to do as much as we can to prepare for that and be ready for the other teams certainly too as well. But we got to make sure we're ready to play on Friday, and that's what we're looking at.
Gino, now I'm sure you guys are busy scouting. Everybody's already scouting the other teams. I don't know anything about the team you're playing. I don't even know how to basically pronounce it. Can you tell me a little bit about what you know?
Well, I just found out like you did, so crash course, I'm just going on my phone and looking at their stats, and they have a pitcher that's a right-hander that's got very, very good numbers. A lot of strikeouts, not a lot of walks. They got another lefty, it looks like maybe is their number 2 guy, that's got very good numbers. I think I saw they're hitting 295 or something as a team, so they're doing something right there from a statistics standpoint on the pitching and hitting side. Other than that, Susan, I don't really know a whole lot. It's just, in fairness, I don't know much about them, but we will. Come by the end of the day, we'll have a lot more information, and of course, as the week goes on.
Do you know pitching rotations? You have any idea right now?
For us?
Yeah.
No. An idea, yes, but again, that's going to be more in line of what the matchups are. The team that we're facing on Friday, obviously, is going to be important to see what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what matchup works well with us, with our pitchers, and so. But I can't make that call until I have all the information in front of me.
The last thing is that you did say, I guess Friday maybe it was, that or the last game, whatever, that right now you're really focused on the mental aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Can you expound on that?
Yeah.
And obviously the end of the season wasn't the way you want it to be.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, when you say the end of the season, I mean, we played really well in the Notre Dame series. That's a big win, big series win for us. Huge. I'm sure that played a lot into this and us being a top 8 seed. We didn't play well in the ACC tournament. I was just talking to somebody. We haven't played. I don't know why. Can't explain it. Going back to when I would say our philosophy, because for so many years we were independent, we care about is the NCAA tournament. Miami was all about the NCAA tournament. So when we got into the ACC, and that's something that cannot be the case moving forward, and I made sure that was something we talked about, but sometimes it's almost like, guys are focused ahead of, into the NCAA tournament and maybe not quite there in the ACC tournament. We were focused. We got beat by NC State. We made some mistakes that costed us runs, especially in that one inning, that were silly mistakes that should never have happened, but they happened. And you end up losing the game. The second game, there's no excuse for that. That's just absolute embarrassment. But you got to turn the page. Like I said, we played well against Notre Dame. Can't let that one game or 2 games in the ACC tournament define our season, define what's moving forward. There's a lot of ebbs and flows to baseball, my goodness. They're all over the place. We kind of went through it a little early. We got beat up really bad against Clemson, 20-5 if I'm not mistaken. Then we won 14 games in a row. And then we went through some struggles there as well. So it's just, you got to battle through it mentally is why I'm talking about that. And make sure your mind's in the right place. Everybody's 0-0 now. Okay, everybody's in the same place. They should be as excited as they can possibly be in a situation like this, playing in front of their family, friends, home fans, and great opportunity that we got in front of us. So everybody hopefully should be in a good state of mind.
3 programs with great traditions in baseball in this regional. Talk about that.
Yeah, you're right, and we've played both of them in the regionals here before. We played Ole Miss. I'm going to mess up the years here, probably, but 06, we played Ole Miss here in a regional. Had to beat them in the regional championship game, I believe. And then in 08, we were the number 1 team in the country, and Arizona came here in the Super Regional. And they actually beat us in the first game. They hit a home run late, like the 8th or 9th inning to beat us. We had to come back and beat them twice. And that's something I talked to our players about too. You know, all these years we've had regionals here and gone to Omaha. There's some amazing games that have been played here to get to this. Everybody thinks it just happens. No, it doesn't. I mean, been to regionals here where we were down 6-2 in the 9th inning and won. Beat Arizona State. That was 1997, I believe. And then had to turn around and beat them again 45 minutes later to go to Omaha. We're down 6-2 in the 9th inning. Just all kinds of crazy things happened during that time. But those two teams that you mentioned are very, very good teams. A lot of tradition, a lot of history. I don't know much about them, as I shouldn't. We haven't played them. They're not in our conference, but we will as we move forward.
Do you know, at the beginning of the year, it was Joanna who mentioned it, but just a group of young, scrappy players who were hoping to turn some heads this season. And so when you look at where this team is at right now, how would you, I guess, describe their development and how confident you're feeling in them going into Friday night?
Well, he's right. It is a young team. If you look at the COVID era, we don't have 40 players on our team, and of course you can only have 27 now. But we have 32 players. That's a small team. When you look at the experience on our team, we have one player that's been here 4 years. That's J.B. Gates. I think we have 2 players that are 5-year guys and 3 that are 4-year guys. Everybody else is 1, 2, or 3 years. I say that because I get confused on the freshman, sophomore, and junior COVID stuff. But that's a young team. The bulk of your team is 3-year, 2-year, and 1-year guys. That's unusual during this time, this era. But it's worked out good for us. I would say the strength and the thing about this team that's been special for me, coaching and just watching them, is how they are. They play together as a team. And although we have faltered a little bit of late, we got to get that back. And maybe the confidence has been hit a little bit. We need to get that back. The team has done a good job of sticking together and supporting each other and playing together as a team. This team has done that as good as any team I can recall in recent time. It wasn't a team that was ranked. I don't believe we were ranked really in the preseason, maybe a poll or two, I don't know. But if we were, it was very, very low. And so it's come a long way. I think they've grown as a team throughout the season. I think, again, you go through ups and downs. We're a pretty confident team during the middle part of the year, and we need to get that confidence back.
We'll do a couple more for Gino.
And then just to follow up, if I could quickly, you talk about the history of baseball here at the Light. Where do you think this team ranks? Have they kind of etched their legacy yet, or is there still more to come, I guess?
Oh, no. Yeah, you can't define that until the season ends. And so that still remains to be seen.
Coach, how do you like the home field advantage? Sorry if I'm in your way here.
Yeah.
How do you like? I'll sit down here. How do you like the home field advantage, Coach? Here.
Well, it brings, of course, this park we've played in, you're practicing in from back in the early fall to now, so we should be as familiar with our field as anybody. The fact that you get to use your own facilities, whether it's in the cages, the weight room, guys are sleeping in their own beds, they're around their family. The atmosphere of what they're used to it's kind of a comfort zone, so to speak. So anytime you can play at home, and of course the most important thing, you get your fans cheering for you, it's a huge advantage. It doesn't guarantee anything, but like I said, when we have a goal, one of the goals that we talked about at the beginning of the year is trying to be a top 8 seed. It's not guaranteeing it, but you want to try to get the best route possible to make it accessible to get to the College World Series. I would think being at home makes that possible.
Final question: how do you like your seating here? I mean, I think number 6 is pretty good, isn't it?
It is, and I think that's probably, you had some upsets here of late and recently, and I think they're looking at our conference as being one of the toughest conferences, if not the toughest, maybe, RPI in the country, and we had the most wins, I think, of anybody in our conference with 20. Half a game out from winning the whole thing, only because the team didn't get to play all their games because of weather and things like that. It's happened to us twice now. But I think they looked at the overall landscape of what we did throughout the season, and that's kind of why we are where we're at.